All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Yankees recap. This is where we recap all the latest news, updates, and everything going on in the Yankee community. Today, you get to watch one of my favorite kinds of videos that I make usually every year. And this year, thankfully, we had the opportunity to do it again because the Yankees, yesterday, Sunday, they clinched a playoff berth. Yeah, Tuesday night, they'll be taking on the Red Sox for the American League wildcard game in Fenway Park, and the winner advances to the ALDS against the Rays. Now, we're going to dive into the projected lineup, starting rotation, how the bullpen's shaping up, just like the roster overall and really everything else. But before we do, please do me a favor and drop a like on this video. It helps me out a lot. I don't ever do this and I don't plan on doing this, but I want to set a goal. Let's set a goal of 1,000 likes on this video. I'd really appreciate that. And we might be doing a playoff tickets giveaway if the Yankees make it to the ALDS, so keep that in mind. But yeah, without further ado, let's get right into it, starting out with the starting lineup. Leading off, because of DJ LeMahieu getting placed on the injured list, that's probably going to be Gleyber Torres. And with the way he's been hitting since moving back to second base, I don't really have a problem with it. Now, obviously, you look at his numbers as a whole, and they're not Gleyber Torres at all. But on September 14th, the Yankees, they decided to move him away from shortstop. And from that point on, he hit .317 with a .386 on base and a .136 weighted runs created plus. And while it is just a small sample size, you could just see how he was a different player at second base. He looked like the Gleyber Torres of old. He was having fun again, which has me feeling pretty good about him heading into the postseason. Batting second will be the Yankee first baseman Anthony Rizzo. Now, for the record, I'd without a doubt bet Judge in the 2-hole, but this isn't Dan's lineup, this is the Yankee lineup. So Anthony Rizzo is almost definitely going to bat second, and he had a pretty solid 2 months in pinstripes. Nothing like his first week where he tore the cover off the ball, but overall in 49 games, he had a .768 OPS with 8 home runs, above league average offense for sure, and also gave us the experience of a great defensive first baseman, really for the first time the Yankees have had since Mark Teixeira. Batting third and playing right field, the one and only face of the franchise, future captain, top 5 player in the sport, Aaron Judge. Judge, he had a phenomenal year in 2021. He ranked top 5 in the league in home runs, on base percentage, slugging percentage, OPS, weighted runs created plus, and WAR. After being labeled as injury prone and a bunch of other nonsense, Aaron Judge answered all the critics with an MVP caliber finish. He now gears up for hopefully a big postseason, which we've seen him have in the past, as he has a career .853 OPS with 11 homers in his playoffs career. Cleaning up as the DH, that is Giancarlo Stanton, who we also got a file under the Answering the Critics section of this preview. Stanton, he followed up his historic postseason performance last year with his best season as a Yankee in 2021. He played in 139 games and hit .273 with 35 home runs, 97 RBI, and a weighted runs created plus of 137. He also, along with Judge, was a tremendous hitter in the clutch. And the fact that we're playing Boston in the wildcard game has me pretty excited for what Giancarlo might do after his insane weekend of hitting in Fenway Park last week. Batting fifth and playing left field, that's likely going to be Joey Gallo, who I know a lot of you think is overrated and was a bad trade, all this and that, and I won't deny he certainly hasn't been good overall. But keep in mind that this guy plays elite defense 99% of the time, that is, and when he hits one of those hot streaks, he can really carry a team. And from September 13th until he hurt his neck on September 22nd, we saw that. He hit .346 with 6 home runs in that span. Now, this will be his first ever postseason appearance, so if the Yankees advance and he struggles, I wouldn't be surprised if you see him get dropped down in the order. But as for the wildcard game Tuesday night, Joey Gallo batting fifth is almost a certainty. Now, just by the way their lineup's been trending, I believe Gio Urshela will bat in the 6-hole. Reasoning for this is, spoiler alert, Brett Gardner will probably be batting 7th, so they're really just splitting up the lefties and righties, which is smart. Gio, he has been hitting the ball well though, hitting .327 in his final 15 games to finish the season. And as I mentioned, Brett Gardner will be batting 7th and playing center. And speaking of finishing this season on a strong note, Gardner, he really did. From August 1st through the end of the season, the 38-year-old veteran posted an .806 OPS while playing his usual solid defense in center. His playing time did cause a little bit of controversy due to Luke Voit hardly seeing the field at all, but now that Voigt's season is officially over due to injury, there's really no debate. The Yankees go on to win the World Series, it'll be with Brett Gardner as their everyday center fielder. Now, the 8 and the 9 holes are basically interchangeable, but for this video, I'm going off the wildcard game matchups. Rougned Odor, he will likely bat 8th and play third base. Reason for this is, as I said before, DJ LeMahieu is out with a sports hernia. If we make it to the ALCS, Boone says he could be a factor then. But for now, Rougned Odor is going to see the bulk of the playing time at third. And I'm not going to say it's the worst thing in the world. Odor has some pop. He does seem to get big hits. And you certainly can't argue that he's good for the team's chemistry, at least if you want to buy into any of that stuff. Another plus is that he's a lefty, which really makes this a sure thing that he'll be starting in the Walker game against the right-handed Nathan Eovaldi. And batting ninth, we have the catcher spot, which with Cole pitching will be Kyle Higashioka, that's for sure. Now, on the days where Gary catches, which I believe will still be the majority of the time if we advance, he might bat eighth. But I mean, yeah, they really are a solid platoon at the position, in my opinion. Higgy is without a doubt the more dependable defender behind the plate, while Gary can change the game with one swing on any day. However, the job could quickly be given to Higgy full-time if Gary had a bad night defensively and doesn't put up offensive numbers to make up for it. So yeah, that's the projected lineup for the Yankees this October. Same story as always. When they produce, they look like one of the best lineups in baseball. When they don't, they can be embarrassingly bad. But I'm feeling pretty confident going up against Nathan Eovaldi. Remember, we did let him up about a week and a half ago in Fenway Park. But yeah, let's take a look at the starting rotation, and this is pretty simple. We know Cole will be starting the wildcard game. He'll hopefully lead us to the ALDS, which in that case, with the way it's lined up, not that that matters because of the off day, I think Nestor Cortez would start game one of a potential ALDS with the Rays. Following him in game two is likely Jordan Montgomery, who has had a great season. Don't let the last start of the year fool you. Jordan Montgomery had a really good season for us. And then by game three, you'll be able to start Cole again with the off day. Game four, the Yankees would have a decision to make. Corey Kluber or James and Taillon. It's a tough choice. Do you go with the veteran Kluber, who's had postseason success in the past, or Taillon, who is obviously more reliable this year and is coming off 3 really good innings against the Rays in the game that the Yankees clinched in? We'll have to see. Obviously, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves with this, since if the Yankees don't win the wildcard game, the season is over. But I think we will win, so there you go. As for the bullpen, I believe it's the best that any team in the postseason has to offer, and I'm not just saying that. From Luis Severino and Michael King to Wandy Peralta and Lucas Licky to Chad Green, Jonathan Loaiza, Clay Holmes, and then of course Aroldis Chapman. If there's one thing to feel really good about, it's the bullpen, without a doubt. Now, we don't have an official roster for the wildcard game just yet, but if you don't already, go ahead and follow Yankees Avenue on Instagram, because I'll definitely be posting it on there. And I also do like pre and post game coverage, all the latest news, updates, and everything. So if you're a Yankees fan, I'm not just saying this as like self-advertising. I mean, I kind of am. But for real, if you're a Yankees fan, you should be following Yankees Ave on Instagram. But yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I assume you're all as pumped as I am. You know, I'm a little bit nervous, but honestly not as much as other years. Maybe I'm just blindsided by, I guess blindsided isn't the word, but recency bias of a week and a half ago where we just tore it up in Fenway, especially when it was Cole against Eovaldi. That's the game where we looked the best, where we won, what, like 8-3 or something like that. So, yeah, feeling pretty good, but at the same time, it's baseball. I mean, anything can happen. The best team in baseball can lose to the worst team in baseball. You know, the worst team in baseball wins 40 games in a year. The Red Sox are pretty good, so I don't want to get ahead of myself. But, you know, after all we went through this year, it is pretty nice to say that we made the postseason. But if it does come to an end on Tuesday, this season will, without a doubt, be a failure. But this is my message to the rest of MLB. Do not let the Yankees get past that wildcard game, because they'll cause some trouble. And you can tell by the way the Rays played the Yankees this series. They weren't giving in the slightest bit. They don't want to face us. I'm not saying they're afraid of us. No, I'm not saying that. But I would not believe the Rays or Kevin Cash, whoever, if they said to me with a straight face that they'd want to play the Yankees in the playoffs. That would just be foolish to think that way. Because the Yankees, when they go on a run, and if they win the wildcard game, they'll be feeling pretty good about themselves. They can be as dangerous a team as anyone in baseball. With how potent their offense is, well, especially when it's working outside of just Judge and Stan. And the starting rotation that I just listed before, while outside of Cole, it won't give you too much length. When you have a bullpen that is, in my opinion, the best in the game, you're set up pretty well for a postseason run, especially considering the fact that with Severino just having come back, Michael King having just come back, a couple other guys, a lot of our relievers are freshly rested. And that was a big problem with the Rays last year, was that all the relievers burnt out because they overworked them. Our guys seem to be in a pretty good state right now. So overall, I'm feeling pretty good. But like I said, all that really matters is that we get by the Walker game on Tuesday, and then we can go from there. Hope you guys enjoy this video. I know it's a little bit longer. But yeah, let's do it. I'll see you guys next time. Hopefully the next time I do see you, the Yankees are in the ALDS. Let's go, Yankees.